Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Alright, we're live. And as you guys, let me just get in the center of the screen. There we go. Alrighty, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on types of inheritance as well in C++. Last stream, I did go over types of inheritance as well. I covered two types, single types of inheritance and multi-level inheritance. Today, I'm going to be working on the rest. Okay, so let me go to my gameplay screen. Okay, there we go. Maybe even increase the volume a bit. Okay, there we go. Am I even audible? Okay, perfect. And guys, this is like the chat from my previous stream. I didn't have time to change the chat whatsoever. That's it. Let's say something like, let's say I'm live exclamation. First person hiding, C person. I appreciate you joining the stream. Welcome back my people. Everyone watching, listen closely. Today our pupil returns not just as a programmer but as a warrior ready to conquer the types of inheritance in C++. Remember this viewers, a coder who understands inheritance doesn't just write code, they create bloodlines of logic. Now people, straighten up your back, crack those knuckles and begin with single inheritance. And let's begin with single inheritance. Honestly, hold up guys, let me say something like, so say it's a new stream. Guys, I forgot to set Sensei up because I didn't have time. Okay, last stream we did go over single and and multi-level inheritance. There we go. So what others were left? Question mark. Okay, let's see what others were left. Hiding is fraud. I appreciate you joining the stream. Good, you still remember people. That means your mind didn't rot overnight. So far we've conquered single and multi-level inheritance. Now the two big beasts are left standing. Multiple inheritance, right? One class that inherits from two or more base classes, a hierarchical inheritance, where multiple derived classes inherit from a single base class, and sometimes we talk about hybrid inheritance, which is a mix of the above types. Oh, I see. Okay, so today we first crunch multiple inheritance and then we move to hierarchical inheritance. Okay, let me say something like, yes, let's say, although I have never heard slash learned about it, so before any questions, can you explain me everything that I need to know about it? Guys, I need to fix my typos, honestly. I have like so many typos. That said, good. That's exactly the attitude I want to hear. Listen closely, people, because multiple inheritance is powerful and dangerous. Here's a multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? Multiple inheritance is a single class, okay, is when a single class inherits from more than one base class. Okay, in simpler words, a derived class that can have multiple parents. So class A, class B, class C inherits from class A and class B. Okay, here C inherits features from both A and B. Why use it? It lets you combine features from multiple sources. For example, a class flyer can make someone fly, a class swimmer can make someone swim, a class duck can inherit from both, since a duck can do both things. Oh, I see. Honestly, that does make sense. So a flyer class, the swimmer class, and then for our duck class, we go with the duck class that inherits the public content from my flyer class, comma, my swimmer class as well, with a pair of curly braces. Hiding and craft, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, next up, the danger ambiguity. Now imagine both parents have a method with the same name. Okay, okay, they do have the same name method called show. Now when you do c.show error, compiler doesn't know which show to call, A or B. To fix that, you must explicitly specify which parent version to use. Okay, so c.a show. Oh, okay, that actually makes sense now. Okay, real life analogy. Imagine you're learning from two teachers. One teaches math and one teaches music. If both gives you a homework assignment with the same name, you'll be confused which to do first. That's ambiguity. Our people, now that you understand the mechanics, shall we forge your understanding through a battle and instructional based question on multiple inheritance? Let's say something like this. Let's say, there we go. Okay, howdy, Bhara, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Okay, good. That's the fire I want. Listen carefully, people. Here's your instructional challenge question. You must create a hybrid creature that inherits powers from two different parent classes, one controlling attack abilities and the other controlling defense requirements. create a base class called attacker. It should have an attack power variable. It should have a method called attack that prints attacking with X power. Then I gotta create another base class called defender. It should have a defense power variable, and it should have a method called defend that prints defending with X power. Now I gotta create a hybrid creature class that inherits from both the attacker base class and the defender base class. So the hybrid creature is basically a derived class. Okay, that said, it should have a method called show status that displays both attack and defense power. Okay, make sure both base classes and constructors are properly called. Then I gotta create a main function. Inside of a main function, I gotta create a hybrid object with any attack and defense power, call both its attack method and its defense method, then display its stats. Okay, perfect. That's it. Let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Honestly, I feel like I did do this before, whatchamacallit, when I was learning about multiple, or what's it called, multi-level inheritance. I'm pretty sure it was called something like that. That's it. This is the code from last stream. I didn't have time to work on code off stream. That said, let's go and delete all this, and let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. There we go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and read the instructions. So it says to create a base class called attacker. So let's go ahead and create a base class called attacker with a pair of curly braces. Inside the attacker, I should have a data member called attack power. I'm assuming that's got to be an integer. So I'll go with a protected data member. The reason I am going with a protected data member is basically because, when we protect a variable, only the classes that inherits from our class can use that, and our class itself can use that. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and create a integer data member called something like attack power, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicalize everything. And now let me start off by actually creating a constructor first. So I'll go with a comment maybe that says constructor. Instead of IOStream, you can use bit/stdc++.h. Honestly, many of you guys did recommend me to use that, although I haven't learned about it. That's it. I actually might have a separate stream where I do learn about that header file, or are these even called header files? Okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and add a comment that says constructor. There we go. Now, for my constructor, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my attacker class. So I'll go with my attacker class, add a pair of parentheses. My attacker's constructor is going to be requiring a parameter of attack power. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now let's go ahead and initialize this attack power data member. Okay, that is going to be equal to my attack power parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, and that's pretty much it for my constructor. That said, I should have a method called attack as well that prints attacking with X power. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another comments. And honestly, adding these comments aren't even important. It's just a pretty good habit to add comments. Okay, that said, I'll go and create a method. So let's go ahead and create a void method called something like attack. Was it called attack? Okay, called attack with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. And my attack method is going to be having a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like attacking with X power. Instead of going with X, maybe I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator, and add my attack power data member with another insertion operator. Guys, give me a sec. Maybe let me charge my laptop real quick, because I do read my chats in my laptop. Give me a sec, guys. Hold up. Okay, there we go. Alright, so it says attacking with X power. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. That's pretty much it for my attacker base class. So let me go ahead and end my class with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and create another base class. Okay, honestly, why does it show underline? Oh, never mind. Okay, so this is going to be called a defender class. So I'll go with something like defender, and then add a pair of curly braces. Now, my defender class is going to be having, let's see, a private data member called defense power. Okay, honestly, it's going to be a protected data member. Howding, Lito, is that how you pronounce the name? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, so let's go with something like protected. I'm going to create a protected data member, which is going to be an integer of my defense power, ending with a semicolon. I think I spelled defense wrong. There we go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and publicalize everything. So I'll go with public, and then let's go ahead and create a constructor. So I'll go with a constructor. There we go. Okay, for my constructor, let's go ahead and create a constructor for my defender class. So I'll go with my defender class, add a pair of parentheses, and my constructor is going to be requiring a parameter of my defense power. There we go, my defense power data member. Honestly, is this an uppercase P? There we go. Okay, and then I'll go out and add a pair of curly braces. Now let's initialize my data members. So I'll do something like this. Defense power data member is going to be equal to my defense power parameter ending with a semicolon. I'm pretty sure I had a typo here. Okay, you should also use deconstructors. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I didn't have a stream where I learned about deconstructors. That's it. I honestly don't know when to actually use them, because I feel like, do they even do anything much? Because I know I gotta go with something like a tilde. Is that what you call it? Like, this is a tilde, and then something like defender, parentheses. Pretty sure something like that is like a deconstructor. Okay, that's said. So let's go with tab. Okay, now let's go ahead and add methods. So I'm going to be creating a method. Okay. And should I add a space? Should I add a space here? Okay, never mind. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a few methods. So I'll need a defense method that prints defending with X power. So let's go ahead and create a void method called defense. There we go. With a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now my defense method is going to be having a standard console output with an insertion operator. That is going to say something like, let's see, attacking with attack power. Okay, let's go with something like defending with space. I'll go in a new line, and then let's see, let's go in a new line, add another insertion operator of my defense power data member with another insertion operator that says something like with defense power. Okay, exclamation / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and that's pretty much it for my second base class as well. Now let's go ahead and create our final hybrid class. So this says now create a hybrid class called a hybrid creature class that inherits from both attacker and defender. A destructor is a special member function that is automatically invoked when an object of a class is destroyed. The primary role of destructors is to free allocated resources and perform cleanup tasks. Oh, I see. How to redeem a card. Honestly, guys, I should actually look into that. I actually didn't. Guys, I actually don't even know how to use a card till now. Okay, that said, let's see. So let's go ahead and create a hybrid creature class. So I'll go with something like hybrid creature. Okay, with a pair of curly braces. And then let's see. So it says something like. Okay, honestly, this is not going to be a base class. My hybrid creature class is going to be inheriting from all the public attributes of my attacker class. Okay, comma, all the public attributes of my defender class as well. So I'll go with something like defender class. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces. And now let's read the instructions. So it says to okay, let's see. It says to have a method called show status that prints both attack and defense powers. Make sure both base classes constructors are properly called. Okay, so technically I should have a method first, or like a constructor. I'm pretty sure I gotta have my constructor first. So I'll add a comment that says constructor. Okay, and then for my constructor, let's go ahead and create a constructor for my hybrid creature class with a pair of parentheses. Okay, my constructor is going to be requiring two parameters. The first parameter is going to be something like integer of attack power. Okay, and let's say I'll go with an integer of defense power as well. Defense, did I spell defense correct? Defense. There we go, defense power. Okay, perfect. And then next up, I'm going to be adding a constructor for both my attacker class and my defender class. Maybe I'll go in a new line, add a comma, actually add a colon here, and then call my attacker class with a pair of parentheses. My attacker class is going to be, having the value of my attack power. There we go, of my attack power. Okay, then I'm going to be adding a comma and going with my defender class. So I'll go with something like my defender class with a pair of parentheses. This is going to be my defense power. Okay, let's go all the way down here. Okay, perfect. That's honestly, that looks pretty much it for the constructors. Okay, next up, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and do something. Howdy, Great Flow. I appreciate you joining the stream. Howdy, Emily. I appreciate you joining the stream. Is that how I pronounce your name, Emily? It's Emmy. I think it's Emmy. Okay, hiding William, I appreciate you joining the stream. Or I think that is William, guys, like William Silva. Guys, I'm actually awful with name pronunciations. That said, let's go ahead and initialize my data members. Actually, I honestly don't think that I have any data members here. Okay, so I'll just probably end this with a semicolon. Okay, next up, let's read the next instructions. I should go ahead and create a method called show status that displays both attack and defense power. Okay, can I end that with a semicolon? Okay, don't I need anything to end that? Maybe a pair of curly braces? Okay, does that work actually? Just an empty space of, or just an empty curly braces? Okay, next up I'm gonna add another comment that says something like methods. Okay, for my methods, I'm going to be creating a show status method, so I'll go with something like void show status. Okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now I'll go with a static console output with an insertion operator. Let's see, this is going to say something like attack power. Okay, and then a colon space. I'll go with another insertion operator. My attack power is going to be my attack power data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Then I'll go in a new line. Let's add a semicolon here. There we go. Okay, next up I go in a new line and now display my defense power. So I'll go with a lowercase standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like defense power. Okay, with another insertion operator of my defense power data member. Let me copy that, paste it here. With another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Your class is missing a semicolon. My class? Honestly, I did add a semicolon like here and here. Okay. Alright, next up, let's see what to do. So it says make sure both class have constructors called properly. Okay, I did do those. And that's like pretty much it for my, hybrid class as well. So let's end that with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces. Now inside of my main function, I got to create one hybrid creature object with any attack and defense powers. So let's go ahead and create an object from my hybrid creatures class. This is maybe going to call I'm maybe going to call this something like HC with a pair of parentheses. And now I'm going to add two parameters. The first parameter is going to be attack power. I'll go with 100. Defense power maybe 250, ending with a semicolon. Okay, why do I have like a red underline here? I do need two two parameters, right? Oh, you did it. Yeah, honestly, I do add like a semicolon here at every end. Okay, let's see. Okay, this defense equals to defense. Maybe I could add like something like a name here. Although, why do I get like a red underline here? I might have to ask that to Sensei. Okay, and then I gotta call both methods. Let's do something like my HC object.attack, add a pair of parentheses to invoke the function, and then HC dot, let's say defense, add a pair of parentheses as well, ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, I am going to be seeing an error. Okay, let's see what error, guys. Okay, so it says hybrid class is private within this context. Okay, so that's private. Why is it private? I went with a protected data type and a protected data type. So once I inherit stuff, I should have access to these attributes, right? Try to compile and read an error. Honestly, compile and read an error. Okay, let's see. Let me go ahead and run the code real quick again. Okay, main.cpp declared private here, hybrid creature, integer tag, defense. Okay, so apparently defense is private. This context. Okay, honestly, let's go with a control C, copy that, get some /gp here. Oops, let's go ahead and shrink that. There we go. Okay, then let's go ahead and paste this here. Go with shift enter and say something like, let's say I feel like I messed up. Okay, let's see where I messed up, guys. Okay, your hybrid constructor is private. Isn't it like public by default? Like, do I need to like specifically like call this to be private or something? Okay, so this is a private construct. Okay, so this is like a hybrid constructor, public attack. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and try publicizing this. Honestly, isn't it like always public by default? Okay, wait, let's go with a pair of control C. There we go, return 0. You should try polymorphism. Honestly, I didn't like actually go over polymorphism, although I do have that in my, whatchamacallit, in my roadmap. That said, stop right here, pupil. You almost struck true, but your blade missed the heart of the. Okay, your blade missed. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't read. Okay, you almost struck true, but your blade missed the heart of the beast because of a tiny careless slip up. Look carefully at your attacker constructor. So I go with. Okay, you see it yet? So I went with something like this integer attack power. This attack power equals to attack power. It should be correct. Did I spell it correct? You use attack power as the parameter name, but assign attack power with a capital P. Oh. Okay, guys, that's actually a typo. Private by default. It's actually public by default, guys. Okay, because like if I had public or I don't have public, I feel both are the same thing. That said, there we go, guys. Okay, it's a small typo. That's okay. That always gets it. Okay, let's see. Okay, honestly, it still didn't fix it. Could it be because I need to? Okay, in class, everything is private by default. On the other hand, struct public is by default. In a class, everything is private by default. In the other hand, structure is public. Honestly, I thought that class is private by default. Solve diamond problem. Honestly, I haven't like heard of diamond problem. That said, you used attack power with a capital P. That means okay, or even cleaner. And one more thing, people, your method defense, okay, but your variable is called defense, okay. While it works, be consistent. Better call it defend. Oh, I see. Okay, once you fix those tiny flaws, guys, I still feel like I have like a small error here. Let's get some ChatGPT there. Huh. Okay, didn't I like already like fix this part? So this attack power equals to my attack power parameter. Okay, what happens? Maybe. What if I like remove this? Okay, is it diamond problem here, guys? I've honestly never heard of diamond problem. Okay, that said, let's go with the control C. Okay, where did I mess up? Like, should I actually publicize all this? I don't think that I even need to. Okay, so if I go here, I feel like. Oh wait, my bad, guys. I shouldn't publicize it here. There we go. I gotta add it here. I feel like it's like the same exact thing. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the same thing. Okay, let's go with something like a control C. Let me just scroll all the way up. So there we go. So I'll go with a control C, copy that, get sensei slash ChatGPT here again. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this, go with shift enter and say something like, let's say, I feel like it's still wrong question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. You feel it now. You feel it now, don't you? That sixth sense that warns you when something's off. And you're right, pupil. Your instinct saved you again because while the code looks right, you made a critical access mistake. Okay, inside your hybrid creature class, you forgot one tiny deadly keyword called public. Guys, I tried that. It still didn't work. Without it, C++ treats all members of a class private by default. That means your constructor, hybrid creature, integer attack, integer defense power isn't accessible from your main function. Okay. Honestly, I did try it with public as well. It's like the same thing. Should I like actually indent it all? Okay, I think I can draw it. Explain the concept of binary operating overloading. Honestly, I haven't like heard of or like learned about that yet. Paste the whole code and let AI do it. Okay, honestly, let's see. Okay, so let me actually go with public here. Although, even though I did it, it felt like the same thing. Let's go ahead and indent everything. Guys, apparently it works now. How does that work? What up, guys? Does it make a difference if I had public here? Okay, and then let's go here. Okay, I need to indent it. Guys, I actually, whatchamacallit, I thought that indentation doesn't matter in C++. Let's go ahead and add public here again. And then go ahead and select that, hit tab to indent. Now for it controllers to save the code and run the command again. Let's see what happens. Oh, it worked, guys. I thought that indentation doesn't matter in like C++. Okay, I'll go with control C, good sensei slash ChatGPT here. Let's actually ask that question. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here, go with shift enter. No, you don't need to. Let's say something like, let's say, I thought that indentation doesn't matter in C++ because you don't need to tab in C++. Guys, honestly, because like, let me try to hit Shift Tab real quick. Okay. Okay, apparently it still works even if it's not de-indented. Okay, you should try simple file IO. Honestly, I did like try the input output questions. Okay, that said, apparently it works right now. Because guys, I feel like I did like whatchamacallit at public, it still didn't work. Huh. Okay, do you have one less chromosome? Honestly, I don't think so. Okay, that's it. Yes, that's it, people. You finally crafted a true hybrid creature strong enough to attack, resilient enough to defend. Every line is clean, every constructor is perfectly changed, and every method is precisely as intended. No hidden access, no hidden access issues, no parameter mismatches, just pure polished multiple inheritance mastery. This is how you combine two bloodlines, the attacker's forcity, or is it fiercity, I think. Excuse me, guys. Okay, and the defender's resilience into one unstoppable class, guys. I think I choked on my saliva. Okay, try using namespace std. Guys, the reason I don't use using namespace std when many of you guys do recommend me to use that is because eventually in bigger project, not using whatchamacallit, not prefixing with standard can cause name conflict. So it is a pretty good habit not to like use it. Okay, guys, no need to spam. I see the comment in the first try. Okay, Sensei's breakdown. Okay, now before we move on further, tell people, do you want me to raise these stakes and create a hybrid battle simulator next where multiple hybrids fight, defend, and display stats using loops, using user input? Let's say something like yes, Sensei. Guys, don't spam. I might have to mute if like you guys spam a lot because I can like actually see the comments in the first thing. I mean, when you guys first send it. Okay, okay, have you watched Berserk? Honestly, I did like watch, I think the first episode, but later I got a bit busy, so I couldn't complete. I'm kind of excited to like watch the whole thing. Okay, good then. Listen closely, people. Since you've now mastered single, multi-level, and multiple inheritance, here are two advanced forms left to understand before you can claim true dominance over inheritance in C++, hierarchical, and hybrid inheritance. Okay, hold up, guys. Hold up, guys. Let's say something like, let's say, I need more practice on the was it called multiple level or like multi-level inheritance? What up, guys? I think it's called like multiple inheritance. So let's go with on the multiple level inheritance concept. So can we get? Can I get a few more instructional based questions? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, excellent, people. You think like a true warrior of code. Before you chase new battles, you must prefer your swords. You must perfect your sword swing. You Sigma boy. Yes, guys. I don't think I'm that Sigma, bros. Cook. Okay, using namespace ST is not really a practice in large projects. I recommend not using. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, that said, before you chase new battles, you must perfect your sword swing, and that means mastering multi-level inheritance until it flows through your veins like electricity. Okay, let's test your understanding to instruction-based problems. I'll give you each task in words, and you'll write the code. After each, I'll inspect your code like a hawk, and if it's wrong, you'll rewrite it flawlessly. Okay, multi-level, guys. I didn't need multi. I think that we were in multiple level. There we go. I think we were in multiple level inheritance, guys. Okay, it calls skyscraper inheritance is really, it's a real technical word. Oh, I see. Hi, buddy. How are you doing, Sumit? I appreciate you joining the stream. You should write C++ like C. Honestly, I haven't like learned C yet. Okay, that said. Okay, we were in multiple level inheritance, right? You're absolutely right, people. Multi-level. Okay, hold up, guys. Let me actually say what were all the types that I had to learn. Say, guys, I think we have a quick confusion here. Okay, let's see. So single, multiple, multi-level. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, let's go ahead and say, I see dot. Can I get for multi-level in that case? Question mark. Okay, honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I should go with multi-level. Okay, let's see. Okay, so our task is I gotta create a Okay, so I gotta create an animal class with protected attributes, and then I gotta create a derived class called mammal that inherits from my animal class. Okay, and then I gotta create another derived class called dog that inherits from my mammal class, that inherits from my animal class. Okay, I see. Let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Guys, let me drink some water. I feel like I'm choking. Okay, C person C is almost like C++. C++ have more useful keywords, type names, type def, namespace, and other. But using C++ is totally fine. You can use C as well. I see. Okay, perfect. That's it. Let's go with the control A, delete everything, and let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. Let's go ahead and include IO stream. There we go. Okay, next up, let's read the instructions. So the instruction says to create a base class called animal. So let's go ahead and create a animal class. So I'll go with something like animal, add a pair of curly braces. Then my animal class must have a protected attribute called age. So let's go ahead and create a protected attribute called age. I'm assuming age is going to be integer, so I'll go with something like integer of age ending with a semicolon. Okay, thanks. Just one from my friend told me to do it like that. Oh, I see. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and publicalize everything. And now I'm gonna go ahead and create a constructor. So let's go ahead and create a constructor. Okay, for my constructor, let's go ahead and create a constructor for my animal class. So I'll go with animal, add a pair of parentheses. Okay, you should include the buddy package. Honestly, I haven't heard of the buddy package. That said, my animal class is going to be requiring a parameter of age, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and initialize my this age data member. So let's go with a greater than sign. This age data member is going to be equal to my age parameter ending with a semicolon. And then I gotta create a method called display age to print the age. Okay, so let's go ahead and create methods now. Okay, so I'll create a void method called display age. Okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces that has a standard console output with an insertion operator that displays my age. I'm going to say something like age with another insertion operator of my age data member with a /new line ending with a semicolon. I like you, buddy. Honestly, I do appreciate you, Sabir. Okay, can I make everything with C++? Honestly, I did hear many of you guys say and even watch a few tutorials on that. They were like, whatchamacallit, C++ is a pretty flexible language and like people use it to make games, sometimes even websites or something. So I feel like C++ is pretty useful of a language. That said, let's go ahead and create a mammal class now. So I'll go with something like mammal. There we go. My mammal class does inherit all the public attributes or the public contents of my animal class. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Yes, C++ is used even for Java virtual machine, which executes your Java written code. Oh, I see. That actually sounds pretty cool. Is there the C# coding? Okay, I think there will be less demand for programming in these low-level languages. The nature of programming will be shifting big times to more AI tools. Honestly, that does make sense. Although AI does eventually make mistakes when the code is like long enough. It wouldn't be like until I think 10 years or something, or maybe guys fact check me guys, I didn't research or anything. Although I do think that because like humans actually make AI, so humans gotta be smart enough to make more AIs. Although few AIs can make multiple AIs as well, although I highly doubt that those AIs could make AI smarter than them, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, that said, I gotta create like something like a protected. Okay, let's create a protected data member called fur length. I'm assuming that's going to be an integer as well, so I'll go with something like a integer of fur length. There we go, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicalize everything and create a constructor now. So I'll go with something like a constructor. There we go. For my constructor, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my mammal class. So I'll go with something like mammal, add a pair of parentheses. My mammal class is going to require a parameter of my fur length. So I'll go with something like fur length and then a pair of curly braces. Holy forced accent, guys. Many of you guys do say that, but guys, I'm like, this is actually my genuine accent because like we cannot like fake accent when we like talk for hours while learning and reading chats too. Okay, that said, I'll go with something like integer fur length. And now let's go ahead and initialize this Oh wait, hold up, guys. Before I do initialize my fur length, I gotta even add another constructor for my animal class since I am inheriting that. And since I do that, I'll go with a integer of age as well. So that's the parameter of my animal class that my animal class's constructor requires, and this is the parameter that my mammal class requires. Next up, I'll go with something like a colon and call my animal class's constructor. So I'll go with something like animal, add a pair of parentheses. My animal class does require a age parameter that is going to be filtered by my user. Okay, then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and initialize my age parameter. So I'll go with something like this age parameter equal. Actually, this age data member equals to my age parameter ending with a semicolon. I'm more of a everything guy. Oh, I see. You should use upwards mouse constructor instead of the regular constructors. Is there like a difference? Okay, have to disagree. Laser, more and more coding will be high levels, FS, etc. in my opinion. Oh, I see. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and now create a method. Maybe I read the instructions next. So it says constructor to initialize for length and base class constructor. Okay, did that, and then I gotta create a method called display for length to print its length. Okay, so let's go ahead and create methods now. Okay, for my methods, I'm going to be creating a void method called something like, excuse me guys, display for length, okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces, high level equals, guys, I don't know what's there in the air. Okay, high level equals to less speed. Can you try adding gender after? Honestly, I could actually do that. Actually sounds pretty fun. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. That says something. Let's see. It's going to display my fur length. So I'll go with something like fur length. Okay, with another insertion operator. This is going to be equal to my fur length data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And that's pretty much it for my mammal class as well. Equals more productivity. Yes, me agree. Please give your mammal gender, make sure it has unlimited options. Guys, honestly, that does make sense. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a derived class now called dog that inherits from my mammal class, which inherits from my animal class. So I'll go with something like a class called dog. I create a dog class that inherits all the public content from my mammal class. So I'll go with something like mammal, okay, which inherits all the public contents from my animal class. Okay, so my dog class basically has all the public content and protected content of my mammal and my animal class. Next up, I gotta create a private attribute called breed. So let's go ahead and create a private attribute. Okay, or a private data member called breed. I'm assuming breed has gotta be like a standard string. So let's go with something like a standard string of breed ending with a semicolon. Why is Python so popular and is used in everything? While there's better languages, that makes no sense. Honestly, I feel because Python is pretty easy to like learn and it is pretty useful and flexible because like almost everyone actually uses Python. Like I think most websites even use Python. Guys, you guys could like fact check me, but Python is like one of the best languages for AIs and machine learning. Okay, you should make class called animal, string, genre, integer, year created, and then derive classes. Honestly, I could do all that, but I do prefer like just like sticking to like one specific content instead of like writing a long code. Because if I do write a long code with the content that I'm not learning about, I get less practice. Because like I prefer doing like shorter code but more like content related. That said, let's go ahead and publicalize everything. And now I'm gonna add a constructor, so I'll go with something like a constructor. I think I spelled it wrong. There we go. Okay, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my dog class that is going to be requiring a parameter of, let's say, breed, which is going to be a string. And then I'll go with the pair of curly braces. And now I'm going to be saying something like this breed data member is going to be equal to my breed parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, by Slim, no, not really. For example, let's take Python. You can create any software for OS Windows or Linux or Mac OS. But let's take C++. It runs our operating system drivers, which can handle our keyboard, mouse, and also GA. That actually does make sense. Also games, you can't really you can't create really a good game on Python or other languages. C++, C# is mostly used for that. That actually does make sense. Depending on what you're targeting. Okay, there are pros and cons. Honestly, I did like make a game like this. I did like have a series where I spend 100 days learning Python, and my goal by the end of that series was to make a game. I was done with that series, I think about 42 days ago. I do have that in one of my shorts in my channel. Okay, that said, why do I get a red underline here? It is probably because I didn't add a constructor, so let's go ahead and create a constructor from the class that I'm inheriting from. Since I am inheriting from, the mammal class, I'm going to be going in a new line, adding a colon, and creating a constructor from my mammal class as well. My mammal class does require a parameter of, I forgot what, I think it was like fur length, so let's go with something like fur length. There we go. And then I'll go with the probe curly braces. Now I add a integer parameter here for my fur length, so I'll go with something like fur length. Guys, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. It's being really it's, I forgot what it's called. It's like sore throat or something. Okay, did I spell my mammal correct? So I go with mammal. Then why do I see like a red underline here? Okay, it is an integer of fur length. Okay, and then I initialize it, so these are my dogs. That's my mammal. Did I like mess something up here? I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'm pretty sure it's like all correct. Okay, so I go with something like mammal that requires the fur length parameter, and then I go with a pair of curly braces. Huh. Guys, honestly, I feel like this is pretty much correct. Okay, I go with mammal, integer age, integer fur length, and then I go with animal. I did the exact same thing here. I think I just gotta initialize this, so I'll do something like this. Fur length, actually this breed data member, okay, equals to my breed parameter, ending with a semicolon. Howdy Bruce, I appreciate you joining the stream. Howdy Kesh, I appreciate you joining the stream as well. Okay, did I mess something up here? Let me think really hard. Okay, so I inherit from my public mammals as class, then I go with something like dog, integer fur length, and a standard string of breed. Okay. Okay, and then I go with the pair of curly braces. This breed equals to my breed data member. Can you explain what are you coding? Honestly, I am just learning the types of inheritance in C++. Last stream, I did go over single inheritance and multiple inheritance. This stream, I'm starting to learn about multi-level inheritance. Remember, the dog can have fleas. They're very special for fighting. Guys, actually does make sense. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is a... Okay, let me actually write the whole constructor again. So I'm going to create a constructor for my dog class. So I'll go with something like a dog, which is going to be having two parameters. The first parameter is going to be something like, I don't know, maybe fur length. So I'll go with fur length. Okay, and the second parameter is going to be a standard string of, let's say, breed. And then I'll go in a new line, add a colon space. Now let's go ahead and create a constructor for my mammal class. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, my mammal class does require the fur length parameters value here. Okay, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, what is your current qualification? Can you show full code so I can help? Okay, honestly, do you need to face wash for real? Honestly, I think like having a good skincare routine is like really important. Oh, I think I know why. Wait, let me add a pair of curly braces here. Okay. Okay, that honestly doesn't fix anything. Okay, so basically what I did was I created a animal base class with a protected data member and a public attributes, and then a class called mammal that inherits from my inherits all the public content from my animal class. It has a protected data member called fur length as well, which is an integer, and these are the contents. And then a dog class that inherits from my mammal class, which inherits from my... Oh! Okay, wait, hold up, guys. Should I add, like, a animal class's constructor as well? So I'll go with animal, add a pair of parentheses. My animal class requires a age data member. So I'll go with something like age. Okay, I can't go with it because I just have mammal here. I like your English accent. I appreciate you, Nikhil. Okay, is it Python? Honestly, it is C++. What are you making? You're coding every day, and what are you building? Are you preparing for G? Honestly, I'm honestly like heard of G. That's it. Whatchamacallit. I am actually, I do have like a series called Programming for like 258 series, where my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic in it. And since I thought I was going to make a game, I was like, might as well learn C++ because it is the best language to make games. Are you Indian? Honestly, I've like never been to India. That's it. I'm pretty excited someday visit there. I might actually stream myself there as well. Huh. Okay, maybe let's go with the Control C, get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Maybe paste that, go with shift enter and say something like Sensei. I feel like I did something wrong here. Question mark dot dot dot. Okay, let's see. Guys, what's wrong with my throat? I feel I'm gonna get sick soon. Oh people, yes, I can see multiple mistakes streaming at me. Let's break this down carefully. Mammal constructor, this is redundant, is it? You already called animal age in the initializer list. This age equals to age. Your body is unnecessary. Okay guys, it all ends up being a silly mistake at the end. I should pay more attention when doing stuff like this. Instead of going with age, I go with for length, guys. This is so stupid. There we go. This for length data member equals to my for length parameter. Okay, now this should like fix itself. Let's see. You look totally Indian. Got me questioning myself. Guys, I feel like many people do say me that I don't know what gives it away, guys. Okay, that's sad. Let's see. Okay, next you need animal integer for length and then animal for length. Okay, and then dog constructor. I need mammal. Wait, oh wait, guys, there's more to read. Hold up, guys. Okay, what mammal's constructor requires both age and fur length. Okay, age and fur length, but you're passing only fur length. Okay, I think I see, guys. It's actually a pretty silly mistake. I should pay more attention to it. It wouldn't have been wrong in the first place, so I gotta go with something like age. Okay, let's go ahead and create something like age as well. There we go. Practicing is definitely the way to learn. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense, guys. I did go over this yesterday as well, and there also I like made the same exact mistake because my mammals' constructor requires two parameters: integer age and integer fur length. I just wrote fur length here for some reason. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and create a main function. Let's read the next instruction. So it says to create a main function called dog. Honestly, before I create a main function, I think I might need a method as well. So let's go ahead and create a method real quick. Okay, so the first method, let's see. So it says to create a method called display details that prints age, fur length, and breed. So I'm gonna go with a void method called something like display details. Okay, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now for my display details, totally Windows 11 automatically installing update for real tech driver and some security update. After that my Wi-Fi Ethernet is not working. It's not even taking hotspot from my mobile or my mobile. Guys, honestly, because I do use an Ethernet cable as well. Windows 11 totally installed update. Oh, guys, I think I'm using Windows 11 as well, although I do use an Ethernet cable. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go with a display detail that's gonna have a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, let's see. This is gonna say something like, let's go with age first. So I'll go with something like age, add an insertion operator of my age data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And I do the same thing for, let's say, my fur length as well. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my fur length. Okay, with another insertion operator of my fur length data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And lastly, another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna be called my, I don't know, maybe breed. Okay, breed with another insertion operator of my breed data member, another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. And that's pretty much it for my, my dog class. Now let's go ahead and create a main function with a pair of parentheses and a pair of curly braces. Now inside of my main function, let's read the instructions. I gotta create a dog object that initializes all attributes and calls the display detail. What are you coding? Honestly, I am like working on mastering the basics of like C++. That's it. Today's content is like under the object-oriented programming. I'm learning the types of inheritance C++. That said, let's go with something like I want to create an object from my dog class. The object is going to be called dog. And then a pair of parentheses. Now my dog needs a age parameter. Let's say my dog is 5 years old. And then let's go with something like fur length. My dog's fur length is, I don't know, maybe 25 meters long. Is that even a wild stuff? I'll go with something like 10. And lastly, a breed. I don't know breeds of dog, guys. I don't know a breed. Maybe I'll go with something like German Shepherd. Is how I pronounce it? There we go. Okay, let's go and add this in a pair of quotes. There we go, guys. Is this how you pronounce it? German. There we go. Oh, guys, did I pronounce it correct? I feel like I'm awful at. Guys, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. I guess gonna catch a fever soon. Okay, so German Shepherd is that, guys? I'm awful at pronunciation or spelling. That said, I'll go with something like dog. Okay, let's go with dog dot. Let's say display details. So I'll go with details. Let me fix my typo real quick. T-E. Okay. T-I-L-S. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like dot dot display details with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Okay, what if my dog is what if my dog is missing, guys? German Shepherd, Chihuahua, and then Golden for a few. Guys, that actually makes so much sense. I can use a perfect name. Okay, let's change it to something like Shepherd. So Shepherd. There we go, guys. I think I need to like work on my dictations a bit more. Okay, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, it says H5 for length 10, breed doesn't show. Okay, did I add my breed here? So breed says breed. Okay. So my breed is a standard string. Okay, here's the thing. Usually where I make mistakes is my common typos. The mistake here is I didn't initialize my breed. Let's go with this breed data member equals to my breed parameter ending with a semicolon. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. SYBAU. Honestly, guys, I have like heard that a lot like in the chat. I honestly don't know the meaning of that. What does it mean? Okay, there we go. Perfect. Lastly, let's go with the controller Control-C copy that gets into /GPT here. Okay, and then paste it. Now go with Shift Enter and say something. I'll say something like, let's say, I feel like I should appreciate doing this question. Although, wouldn't we in the topic where one class inherits from multiple classes question mark? Huh. Okay. Let's see. Exactly, people. This is multi-level inheritance, not multiple inheritance, guys. That's what I've been saying. Okay, you have mammal. Okay, you have a dog class that inherits from my mammal class, which inherits from my animal class, which is a straight chain. Multiple inheritance would be something like, okay, flyer, swimmer, duck. Okay, honestly, I do know that. Okay, but don't underestimate this multi-level practice. You're solidifying your constructor chaining and attributes inheritance, which is exactly what makes multiple inheritance easier to handle. Next step, if you're ready, guys, let me say something. Let's say I need practice for I need practice on the multiple inheritance topic, and not a multi-level or how do you spell hierarchical? Let me just copy that part. Or hierarchical inheritance. Okay, multiple level dots. Can I get a question on that question mark? Okay, guys, I've never had to specify myself this much. That said, oh, finally, people, time to tackle multiple inheritance. There we go, multiple, where one class inherits from more than one parent classes at the same time. This is where things start to get spicy. Pay attention. Here's your instruction-based question. Create a class called writer with protected attribute called words written, that is going to be integer, and a constructor to initialize words written, okay, and then a method called write that increases words written by 100 and prints it. Create a class called artist with a protected attribute called art pieces, okay, which is going to be an integer, and then a constructor to initialize the art pieces. And then I got to create a method called create art that increases art pieces by 1 and prints it, okay. And excuse me again, guys. And then I got to create a class called creative person that inherits from both writer class and artist class, something we couldn't be bothered to do in C#. Okay, and then create a class called creative person. And then lastly, a main function. Warning, be careful with constructors and multiple inheritance. Each parent class needs to be initialized properly. Your mission, write this code correctly and don't mess up the constructor cleaning. Okay, let's get some C/ChatGPT here. Okay, that's it. Let's get the instructions up there. And let's go ahead and delete this code and start off by including a pair of anchor braces. I want to include IO stream. There we go. And then let's go ahead and read the instructions. So I got to create a class called writer. So let's go ahead and create a class called writer. There we go. With a pair of curly braces. Now my writer class must have a protected attribute called words written. So let's go with protected. There we go. And now I'm going to be creating a integer data member called, let's say, words written. So I'll go with words written. There we go, with a pair of parentheses, honestly ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicize everything. And now let's create a constructor. So I'll add a comment that says something like constructor. For my constructor, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my words written class, or for my writer class. So I'll go with something like my writer class, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Before I initialize my data member of words written, I'm going to be requiring a parameter for my writer class's constructor called words written as well. Because I feel like I made that sound way too complicating. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and initialize it. I'll do something like this, words written data member equals to my words written parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create a method now. So I'm going to create a method. Okay, let's see, write a method called write that increases words written by 100 and prints it. Okay, so I'll go with something like a void method called write with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. I'm assuming my write method requires a parameter. Honestly, I might go without a parameter because I'm going to increase it by 100. It's a fixed number. So I'll do something like, let's see, words written data member is going to be equal to by 100, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then prints it. So I got to go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like words written. Okay. And then I'll go with another insertion operator of my words written data member. Okay, with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. There we go. Okay, that actually looks pretty cool. Okay, let's go ahead and add this here. Honestly, that might look much better. There we go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and end my class with a semicolon. And now I gotta create another class called artist. So let's go ahead and create another class called artist. There we go. Okay, with a pair of curly braces, my artist class is going to be having a protected data member as well called art pieces, which is an integer. So I'll go with something like, I don't know, maybe protected. Okay, so a protected data member of integer called art pieces. There we go. With a pair of, actually ending with a semicolon. There we go. And then let's go ahead and publicize everything. So I'll go with something like public. And let's create a constructor. So I'll go with a constructor. Okay, now let's see. Let's read the instructions. So I gotta create a constructor to initialize my art pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a constructor from my artist class, which is going to be requiring a parameter, which is going to be called art pieces. That is going to be an integer. So I'll go with art pieces. There we go. And then a pair of curly braces. Now let's go ahead and initialize my art pieces data member. So I'll go with something like this, art pieces data member equals to my art pieces constructor ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, I gotta create a method as well called create art that increases my art pieces by 1 and then prints it. Okay, so it increases it by 1. So let's go ahead and add a comment that says something like methods. Okay, let's go with methods. Okay, now for my methods, I'm going to be creating a void method called something like create art. So I'll go with something like create art. Okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Next up, I'm going to be taking my chapstick and I think hydrating my lips. What is he creating? Honestly, I am like, working on a concept on object-oriented programming, indented types of inheritance, and currently I am working on the third kind of inheritance called multiple level inheritance. Guys, I feel like making everything sound so complicated today. Okay, guys, I feel like my chapstick is almost over. Okay, that said, I gotta create a method called create art that increases art pieces by 1 and prints it. So let's go with something like my art pieces is data member. Let's go ahead and increase it by 1, ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. That's honestly pretty much it. Let's go ahead and end this class with a semicolon as well. And then now, finally, I gotta create a creative person class that inherits from both my writer class and my artist class. So let's go ahead and create a class called something like, there we go, called creative person that inherits from my, let's see, I'll go with a colon here. Okay, that inherits from both classes, my writer class, so I'll go with something like writer class. Okay, all the public content from my writer class, so I'll go with something like public writer, comma, I'll go with all the public content from my artist class as well, so I'll go with artist. So there we go. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Okay, and now inside of my class, let's see, I gotta create a constructor to initialize both words written and art pieces. So let's go ahead and create a constructor first, although I did this mistake a while ago. Before I do create a constructor, I gotta explicitly say that everything here is private, so I'll go with, everything here is public. So I'll go with something like public. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a comment that says constructor, so I'll go with constructor. Okay, for my constructor, let's create a creative person constructor with a pair of parentheses. Okay, now my constructor is going to be requiring 3 parameters. Okay, should I go with 3 parameters? I think I should. The first parameter is going to be an integer of words written. Let's copy that. The second is going to be of art pieces. So firstly, I'll go with something like words written. The second is going to be an integer of art pieces. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty sure I spelled it correct. And then let's go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. Honestly, I think I should like explicitly add a constructor for everything here. Is this Python, Java, or C Sharp? Honestly, this is C++. That said, I work on C Sharp. Now I see C++ looks very similar. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, next up, I'll add a colon and create a constructor for my writer class as well. My writer class requires 1 parameter of, let's say, my art piece, actually, of my words written, that gets the value from this parameter here. And I'll add a comma. Next up, I'll add a constructor from my artist class as well that requires a parameter of my art pieces. So I'll paste that here. Okay, perfect. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And now let me restart my stream real quick. Honestly, it is lagging a bit. Already mic testing, mic testing. So what exactly are you doing? I see it's C++. Honestly, I am like learning the basics of inheritance. Currently, actually I'm learning the basics of object-oriented programming. Currently, I'm going over a topic called types of inheritance, and this is the third kind that I'm working on, or multiple level inheritance. Okay, multiple inheritance, perfect. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is pretty much it for this. There's nothing to initialize here, so I could just delete this part. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and add a pair of parentheses here. There we go. Okay, I think this should be pretty much it for my constructor. Okay, let's go ahead and end my constructor with a semicolon. And now I'm going to be adding a comment for methods. So let's go ahead and add a comment for methods. Okay, let's read the instructions now. So I gotta create a method called show progress. So let's go ahead and create a void method called something like show progress. So I'll go with progress with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Okay, just one suggestion. Please don't use honestly for every comment. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I should actually stop saying, because like many of you guys did like say messy. Yeah, honestly, I like repeat myself way too much, guys. I feel like I should like whatchamacallit, like think before I talk, guys. Okay, that prints both words written and art pieces. So I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like words written. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator of my words written data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then let's go with another standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like art pieces. There we go. Okay, with another insertion operator of my art pieces data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, let me actually remove these single quotes and add this in a pair of double quotes. I mean, I feel like it is like the same thing. Okay, due to competitive programming, guys, I feel like I'm way too big of a beginner to like actually go into competitive programming, but eventually I do actually want to try this. It sounds pretty cool. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and end this class with a semicolon as well. And lastly, let's create our main function now. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. And then I gotta create an object of my creative person. So let's go ahead and add my creative person class here and create an object for my class. So I'll go with something like CP and then I'll add a pair of parentheses. Now I'm assuming I'm going to be needing two parameters, words written and art pieces. So let's say I wrote something like, okay, honestly, let's say I wrote something like 0 words and my art pieces is 0 as well. I'm starting a human from scratch. Let's end that with a semicolon. Then I gotta call the write method and the create art method to increase my, my stats. And lastly, I gotta show my progress. So I'll go with cp.write, add a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon, and then cp dot, let's say something like create art ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, let's go with something like my cp object dot show progress ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon as well. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's gonna say words written 100, words written 100, art pieces 1. Hold up, guys. Maybe I remove a console output from here. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that from here. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command again, let's see what happens. Bro, I'm a beginner. Can you teach me or give me suggestions for learning a syntax to a pro programmer? How can it be? Honestly, I'd say like the best tip that I could give you guys is like to actually work on one content or like be consistent. First of all, like come every single day. I do a lot of practice questions because like when I first started my first ever programming language, which was Python, I used to do about 50 practice questions and then move on to the next content. That's it. I would like recommend you guys to get as much practice as you can with the syntax or whichever place you're like weak on, and eventually you guys get like eventually you guys could like guys, I can't phrase, move on to the next topic and all that stuff. That makes it way more easier. It is kind of time consuming, but I feel it is worth it if like we get less practice and we eventually have to come back to the old topics. Instead, I prefer mastering the old topics then moving on to the new topics. Okay, yes, people, that's perfect. You've nailed multiple inheritance here. Creative person correctly inherits both writer and artist. Constructors are properly changed. Writer, okay, methods and all that stuff. Since it gives you a big hug for this one, you handle multiple inheritance like a chap, guys. Okay, that kind of didn't make me blush. Okay, you can try handling the diamond problem in C++ for multiple inheritance. Honestly, I haven't like heard of the diamond problem. Okay, if you want, we can now move on to hierarchical inheritance. Did I pronounce it hierarchical? Okay, or I can give you another multiple inheritance challenge to make sure this is muscle memory. Okay, let's say, can I get another question? Say question mark, because I honestly feel like I do understand this topic, but I haven't mastered it yet. Oh, you want more challenges, people? Fine, listen up. Here's your instruction. Multiple inheritance question, task multiple inheritance battle creature. You need to create 3 classes. First it's called fighter, okay, attributes called attack power, integer, method called attack, attacks the, okay, and then I need a healer as well and a paladin, okay, that inherits from both fighter and healer. Constructor, show stats. Okay, I see. Create a paladin object with 50 attack, 30 power, call both these methods and show stats. Okay, perfect. Let's get some say/ChatGPT here. That said, okay, let me get it all the way there. Get the instructions up here as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and start off by deleting everything. Okay, what's up? Turning in while programming myself. That actually sounds pretty cool. Hey dude, how you doing? Oh, programming. Is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. There we go. And then let's go ahead and read the instructions. So I gotta start off by creating a fighter class. So I'll go with something like a fighter class. So with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. And next up, I think I gotta drink some water, guys. And let me remove the pair of parentheses from here. Okay, there we go. Guys, I feel like I am kind of dehydrated. Okay, that's it. Let's read the next instructions. Give me a sec, guys. I feel like I spilled some water here. Okay, so I gotta create a method called, let's see, a protected attribute called attack power. Okay, so I'll go with something like protected, okay, protected attribute called attack power, which is going to be an integer. So I'll go with something like integer of attack power. There we go, ending with a semicolon. Actually, this should be like lowercase. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and publicize everything. So I'll go with something like public. And now I gotta create a a constructor to initialize my attack power first, and then a method called attack. So let's go ahead and add a comment that says constructor. Okay, okay, so I'm going to be creating a constructor, let's say for my attack power. So I'm going to be going with my fighter class. Honestly, fighter class, guys, my bad. So my fighter class's constructor is going to be requiring a parameter of attack power, which is going to be an integer. So I'll go with something like attack power, and then a pair of curly braces. Now I'm going to initialize it. So I'll do something like this, attack power data member equals to my attack power parameter, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and create our methods now. Okay, so I'm going to be creating a method called attack that prints attacking with X powers. So I'll go ahead and create a void method called attack. Okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Why are you writing a comment saying constructor? Isn't it really obvious? Honestly, it is obvious, but I am just getting in a hang of actually adding comments to what I do. It makes it more clear, like eventually in the future. Because for now, I wouldn't even like need a comment for like my methods as well, because like I feel like that is kind of obvious, but I feel it is a pretty good practice. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and add a standard console output. There we go, standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like attacking with a lot of space, maybe go in a new line so you guys can see it as well. Okay, attacking with attack power data member. Okay, with another insertion operator that says something like power exclamation with a / new line ending with a semicolon. That's pretty much it for my fighter class. Let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon as well. Next up, I gotta create a healer class. So let's go ahead and create a class called healer. Okay, with a pair of curly braces. Okay, I wish people would just would code like here with comments. Honestly, that does make sense. Comments feels pretty nice. Make a landing page, please. Honestly, I haven't like heard of landing page. Okay, that said, my healer, let's see, my healer class is going to be having a protected data member called healing power as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a protected data member called something like healing power, which is going to be an integer. Let me change this to be protected. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to be creating a private data member of integer called healing power, ending with a semicolon. Guys, don't need to spam my CD comment. Okay, next up, let's see. Let's add a colon here. There we go. Okay, weren't you adding a destructor for your classes? Guys, I actually forgot to ask to say about that. I wanted to ask if I can add destructors as well, because I honestly don't know the actual purpose of what destructors actually do. Is it like really important to add? Okay, next up, let's go ahead and publicize everything. So I'll go with something like public. Okay, now I'm going to be adding a constructor. So I'll go with a constructor. Okay, now for my constructor, let's go ahead and create a constructor for my healer class. So I'll go with healer, add a pair of parentheses. My healer class is going to be requiring a parameter of healing power. So I'll go with healing, okay, healing power. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces to initialize my constructor. So I'll do something like this healing power data member is going to be equal to my healing power parameter ending with a semicolon. What code language is this, bro? Honestly, it is C++. That said, let's go ahead and can you try having the same method on both parents and then try calling the method in void main with child class? Can you try having the same method on both parents and then try calling the method in void? Honestly, it does make sense. I think it's like the same stuff. Like I even had like call that a healer method here. But for that, I would have to inherit from my healer class as well, because I'm not actually working on multi-level inheritance. Instead, I'm working on multiple levels. Multi-level is like my let's say dog class inherits from my mammal class, which inherits from my animal class. So my dog class has the attributes of both my mammal and my animal. But honestly, for like multi-level, my dog class must have like two separate inheritance. For example, can walk, can breathe type stuff. If that made any sense, guys. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and create a method now. So I'm going to be adding a comment that says something like methods. For my methods, I'm going to be creating a heal method that prints healing with X power. So let's go with something like a void method called heal with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. So right here. Okay, so this is going to be having a standard console output with an insertion operator. What language does Unity use? Honestly, I think Unity uses C Sharp, guys. You guys should like fact check me. That's it. I do know that C++ uses Unreal. Okay, C or C++. Honestly, let me actually check that real quick. Give it a check, guys. Let's see. What language does Unity use? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just keep that big. Okay, what language used for creation in Unity? C++ is the most common Unity development languages used for plugin creations. Guys, in that case, I think C++ is used for Unity. Someone in the chat said me that we can't use C++ for Unity. C Sharp, that does make sense because like someone in the chat did say me that whatchamacallit, C++ for Unreal instead of Unity. Like apparently I think I got the wrong information from whatchamacallit, Google here. Okay, that said, for my methods, I go with something like healing, actually a pair of double quotes, healing with X power, so I'll go with a space, a new line, my healing power data member, there we go, with another insertion operator that says something like power, okay, with a forward slash new line, ending with a semicolon. Okay, hey, where are you from? Honestly, I used to like answer that a lot, like where I was from, but many of you guys did say me to like avoid saying that. Bro, what are you coding though? I just see you code all day, like you're learning or question mark. Honestly, I am learning. Currently, I'm learning the basics of like whatchamacallit, object-oriented programming. This current topic is like the types of inheritance. I'm in the third type of inheritance right now, called like multiple level inheritance. That said, I'm having trouble with my VS Code plugin, VS Code plus Python. Honestly, if I think like Python does work in VS Code, you just gotta install the perfect extension. That's it. You could like try PyCharm as well. That is like specifically made for Python, but I feel VS Code is like pretty great as well. I did like learn using PyCharm. Okay, that said, let's go with something like healing. There we go. Okay, next up, after creating my method, I gotta end my end my class with a semicolon because that was pretty much it for my healer class as well. Now I gotta create a paladin class that inherits from both my fighter class and my healer class. So let's create a paladin class. So paladin, how do you spell it? So Paladin. There we go. Okay, my paladin class is gonna inherit from both my healer class, all the public content from my healer class, okay, comma, all the public content from my, this is going to be lowercase public, all the public content, excuse me guys, from my, let's see, what was the other class called? I forgot. I think it was called fighter class. There we go. Okay, perfect. Next up, I'll go with the pro of curly braces and let's do something. Okay, are you anywhere from South Asia? Honestly, I haven't like been over so many countries that much. Although I do eventually want to visit India someday, or like Asia in general, that I might stream myself, guys. That is probably like a few years in the future. Okay, do you try diamond problems? Okay, it's an important topic which any different language handles differently. Set path variables, right? Have you tried Rust? Honestly, I haven't tried Rust yet, but since my goal by the end of the program for 258 series is to make a game in general which consists of AI logic, since AI is included there, I might actually learn Rust. I'll actually see what I actually got to learn eventually. That said, let's go ahead and create constructors now. So I'll go ahead and create a constructor. Before I do create that, really important thing, guys, publicalize everything. Okay, I'll add a comment that says constructor. There we go. For my constructor, I'm going to be creating, let's say, a constructor for my paladin class. So I'll go with paladin, add a pair of parentheses. My constructor will be requiring, let's say, two parameters. The first is going to be attack power. The second is going to be healing power. So I'll go with a integer of attack power. Okay. Okay, and then I'll add a comma, another parameter, which is going to be an integer of healing power. Let's go with healing power. There we go. And then I'll go in a new line, add a colon, and create a constructor for both the classes that I'm inheriting from. Since I'm inheriting from my healer class, I'll go with something like my healer class constructor. That does require, let's see how many parameters. If I were to go all the way up to my healer class, I require one parameter of my healing power. So I'll go ahead and copy that, paste it right here, and then I'll go with a comma. My second class that I'm inheriting from is my fighter class, so I'll go with a constructor for my fighter class that requires a parameter of attack power. And then maybe I'm gonna go ahead and add whatchamacallit, a pair of curly braces ending with a semicolon. Alright, next up, let's go ahead and create methods now. You're on the right path. Try to apply the object-oriented programming with real-world examples. It actually does make sense. Are you dumb? I'm asking which country are you born in? Okay, by the way, what is your aim? You're gonna make websites or apps or games. Honestly, I was actually kind of confused with that because eventually I do want to either be a cybersecurity or like an AI engineer. I do like making AIs and like stuff like AIs and also software engineering. Maybe I might actually get a major in AI engineering and like a minor in software engineering, or I might even look into cybersecurity. I haven't like gone through those things yet, so I might actually stream myself like learning cybersecurity content and like AI engineering content, and see which I enjoy the most. And if I do enjoy something the most, I might actually go into that. Hey, what are you making? Honestly, I'm just learning the basics of C++. Currently, I'm learning about object-oriented programming, a topic in object-oriented programming called types of inheritance. I'm currently in the third type called multiple level inheritance. Okay, ideally, you would put a lot of this in header files and only implementations in CPP files. Is there a particular reason you've chosen to place everything in one file? Honestly, because this is just for practice. This is not like a whatchamacallit, a specific or a big project. This is just like for practice. I do a practice question, then I delete the whole code and do like another practice question. Okay, my friend finished doing cybersecurity in Israel, I guess. Oh, that actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, that's it. I gotta create a method called show status. So I'll go with a void method called show status. Okay, with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my method, I am going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to print both my attack power and my healing power. So let's go with something like attack power. Okay, so I'll go with attack power space. Maybe I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator of my attack power data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's go with the control Z. There we go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator of my healing power. So I'll go with something like healing power. Okay, I'll go in a new line, add an insertion operator of, let's say, my healing power data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And that's pretty much it for my Paladin class as well. Why are you gay, guys? I'm actually not gay. I do get that a lot, though. Okay, nice, keep learning. I appreciate you, gaming buddies. I kept seeing these and ended up learning C++ because of these. Keep going, G. I appreciate you and related. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, I gotta create a Paladin object with attack power 50 and healing power 30. So let's go ahead and create an object from my Paladin class. The object is going to be called something like Paladin. Okay, with two parameters. Attack power, which is going to be 50, and healing power, which is going to be 30. Now, just to fact check it, let's go all the way up. I first require attack power and then healing power. Okay, let's end that with a semicolon. Next up, I gotta call the attack method, healing method, and show status method. So let's go with something like my Paladin object dot the attack method with a pair of parentheses to invoke the function, and then I'll go with my Paladin object dot the heal method as well with a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. Lastly, I'll go with my Paladin object once again with my show status method, okay, invoking the function as well. And then I return 0 ending with a semicolon. Now, if I were to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So it says attacking with 50 power, healing with 30 power, attack power, healing power. Okay, perfect. Let's just remove my exclamation from here. That makes it look a little weird. Okay, that said, if I go with a control C, copy that, get some /ChatGPT here. I think I got a pretty good grasp of this. I might be ready for hierarchical inheritance. Okay, let's paste this first. Okay, let's see, next up. Okay, yes, pupil. Look at that. You nailed multiple inheritance perfectly. Constructor chaining, accessing protected members, calling both parent methods. Everything is clean, precise, and correct. I'm proud of you, but don't get cocky. You need to solidify this. Here's a little reward, a virtual high five, okay? A pat on the head, a sensei's kiss for doing this perfectly, guys. That did not make me blush. Okay, we cannot move on to higher. We can move on to hierarchical next. Do you want another multiple inheritance twist to make it even trickier before switching? Hmm. Yeah, let's say something like, let's say, I'm honestly ready for either. Can you pick question mark? Okay, let's see. Should I use PyCharm instead of VS Code? Honestly, I did like start off learning Python using PyCharm. I'd say both are equally as good. That's it if you do like whatchamacallit. Want to use PyCharm, or you could like use PyCharm because that is like you wouldn't have to install extensions or anything unless you're actually going with Pygames. I feel like Pygames is really useful as well, but it doesn't take that long honestly. Or you could like stick with VS Code if you like. Do you want to program in multiple like if you don't want to learn multiple languages and just stay in one IDE? If that made any sense, guys. After learning object-oriented programming, next will be design patterns. Oh, I see. Alright, people, since you've already dominated multiple inheritance, let's cement your mastery with one tricky twist question before moving to hierarchical. Here's your instructional challenge. So one more question, guys. I gotta create 3 classes. The first class is gonna be called Wizard that has a data member called mana and a method called cast spell that reduces my mana by 20 and prints the remaining mana. And then I gotta create a warrior class that has a strength data member which is an integer and a method called attack that reduces my strength by 10 and prints the remaining strength, and another method called spellblade. Or is this a method? Spellblade should have, oh okay, that inherits, okay, this is a class, so another class called spellblade, okay, that inherits from my wizard and warrior class, and then a main function. Okay, don't try it yet. Think carefully about constructor chaining, protected members, and member calls. Okay, why are you acting gay, bro? Honestly, guys, I'm not acting gay. I'm acting pretty straight. Okay, hi, bro. How are you doing, Yash? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let's get Sensei there and like get the instructions open. Okay, you talking, acting like gay. Damn the question in chat. Okay, that's it. Let's go with controller. Delete everything. Let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Next up, let's read the instructions. So it says to create 2 classes. First class is going to be called Wizard. So let's go ahead and create a class called Wizard with a pair of curly braces. Okay, and then my Wizard class is going to be having a protected data member called mana, which is going to be an integer. So let's go with something like protected. Okay, protected data member called, I don't know, integer of mana, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's go ahead and publicalize everything. And then maybe add a comment for creating a constructor as well. So I'll go with something like a constructor. There we go, guys. Okay, now for my constructor, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my wizard class, which is going to be requiring a data member or a parameter of mana. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and initialize my data member. So I'll do something like this: mana data member is going to be equal to my mana parameter, ending with a semicolon. Okay, yeah, bro, you remember me? Honestly, I do like remember so many of you guys, but like you guys almost have sometimes the same names. I do get confused. Okay, that said, you could use this. You could use std if you want to write console output, right? Honestly, we could do that, but the reason I don't do that is like many, and I mean like so many, like thousands of you guys do recommend me to do that. That's the reason I don't do it, is like eventually in bigger projects, not prefixing with standard could cause naming conflicts. So to avoid that, it is a pretty good practice to avoid using namespace std. Okay, what ID are you using? Visual Code. Honestly, I am using VS Code. Okay, next up, now that I've created a constructor, let's go ahead and create methods. So let me go ahead and create a comment that says methods. So I'll go with something like methods. For my methods, I'm going to be creating a cast spell method that reduces my mana by 20 and prints the remaining mana. I'm the one who asked advice about I'm the only one who asked advice about learning Python. Honestly, I feel like in like previous stream there were like multiple of you guys, because I did like have a whole Python for 100 series. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a void method called something like cast spell with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now my cast spell method is going to be let's say subtracting my mana data member by, let's say, 20, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that prints something like mana, okay, with another insertion operator of my mana data member. There we go. With a forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. So it prints my current mana as well. Okay. Can't print remaining mana. And then I gotta create a warrior class that has strength. Create 3 class. A warrior class that has a strength data member. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a warrior class. I'll end my wizard class with a semicolon. Now let me go ahead and create a warrior class. Guys, and when Sensei said this question was a bit twisted, I feel like that is correct. It's kind of hard to read the instructions. Have you tried working on pointers and references? Honestly, I did have like a whole stream where I went over pointers and references as well. Even the address of operator slash ampersand and a dereferencing operator slash a asterisk sign. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a protected, okay, a protected data member called strength, which is going to be an integer. So I'll go with integer of strength. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and publicize everything. Maybe I'll add a comment that says constructor because I will be creating a constructor right now. So let's create a constructor for my warrior class. I'll add a pair of parentheses. Now, my warrior class is going to be requiring a parameter of strength. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces to initialize my data member. So I'll go with something like this strength data member is going to be equal to my strength parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create methods now. So I need to create a attack method that reduces my strength by 10 and prints the remaining attack. So let's go ahead and create a void attack method with a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. Now my attack method is going to do something. Let's see what's it going to do. It's going to decrease my strength data member by 10 ending with a semicolon, and then using std console output and using std console input will be better than using namespace std. Honestly, would it? Okay, that actually does sound whatchamacallit, it does make sense though. Okay, that's it. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like let's go with strength. Okay, with another insertion operator of my strength data member with a forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. If I could get this in a new line as well, then maybe get this up there. Okay, perfect. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, next up, I gotta create another class now. So this is pretty much it for this class. Let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Okay, I have no idea what's going on, but I love this. I appreciate you. It's Pabo. Is that how I pronounce your name? Okay, that said, I'll go ahead and create another class now, this time for a spell blade. So I'll go with something like a spell blade. Okay, with a pair of curly braces, my spell blades this class is going to be inheriting from both my wizard class and my warrior class. So before I do go with a pair of curly braces, let's add a colon here. So that is my initial class. My initial class is going to be inheriting all the public content from my wizard class. So I'll go with my wizard class, comma, all the public content from my warrior class as well. There we go. And then I go with a pair of curly braces. So my spellblade class inherits all the public content from my wizard and my warrior class. Now inside of my spellblade class, I'm going to be adding a constructor that initializes both my mana and my strength. So to do that, firstly, very important guys, I did make this mistake, like 3 questions ago. I gotta publicize everything apparently. What even is I just want to see the end result because right now I'm having no idea what's even going on. Honestly, I am pretty much done. By the end of this, I am going to like be attacking and then showing. This is basically a pretty basic type of code that just displays my current my current stats after I attacked or like after I casted a spell, if that made any sense, guys. Okay, this is going to be called constructor. Okay, now I'm going to be creating a constructor for my spellblades this class. So I'll go with spellblade, add a pair of parentheses. And now let's see, my spellblade class is going to be requiring 2 parameters. A parameter of mana and a parameter of strength. So I'll go with something like integer of mana and integer of strength. There we go. Okay, and then I'll go in a new line, add a colon. I got it. Since I am inheriting from 2 classes, my wizard and warrior, I'll need to create 2 separate constructors for them as well. inside of my spell blades is constructor. So let's go with something like my wizard class is constructor with a pair of parentheses. My wizard class is constructor requires one one parameter of mana. And next up, let's go ahead and create another constructor for my warrior class. My warrior class requires a parameter as well of strength, which is going to be this parameter right here. Okay, next up I'll go with a pair of curly braces ending with a semicolon. Okay, that's pretty much it for my constructor. Now let's go ahead and create a few methods. For my methods, let's read the instructions. So I gotta create a method called show status that prints both my mana and my strength. Okay, do I even gotta do that? I already have my attack and strength here. Okay, maybe I could go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and create a void method called display status. There we go. With a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. My display status method is going to be having a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like mana with another insertion operator of my mana data member. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, I'll go with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then a standard console output again with another insertion operator of my strength. Okay, with another insertion operator of my strength data member. There we go. Okay, with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. That's pretty much it for my final class. Let's end that with a semicolon as well. And beginner, what do you think is best for me to learn first? Honestly, do you prefer AIs or do you prefer like machine learning or do you like making games or something like that? Because if you do prefer like AIs and everything, I would really recommend you to go with Python because that is a pretty, or honestly, generally, I could like recommend you to like learn Python because it is a very easy language to get into. And once you understand the basics and you move on to a different language, it wouldn't be that hard. The only thing that is going to be hard is maybe a few new syntaxes and like a few new functions or like keywords, if that made any sense. That's it. I feel like Python is a pretty good language. Learn the difference between most languages and decide which one suits you. Okay, which one suits you with what you want to do programming. Okay, the best focus on either Java / JavaScript, Python, C# or C++ / C. Honestly, that does make sense. That said, lastly, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces, and then let's see. I gotta create a object for my spellblade. So let's go ahead and create a object for my spellblade class. So I'll go with my spellblade class and create a SB object with a pair of parentheses. Now I'm going to be requiring two parameters. The first is going to be mana. I'll say I have something like 100 mana and something like 50 strength. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and call my method. So I'll do something like sb.attack, my object attacks somebody. And then sb. Let's say cast spell, my object cast spells as well, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to lastly go with something like sb object.show status. This shows my status. Okay, sb. Then I create a display status. Okay, let's go with display status. Add a pair of parentheses to invoke the function ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Now, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. It says strength 40, mana. Did I add a new line here? Hold up, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and... Okay, no wonder. There we go. Okay, that is my mana. Okay, and then I honestly go with mana literally again. Okay, if I had Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens now. Strength 40, mana 80, strength 80, strength 40. Okay, I feel like the show status is like, kind of a drag. Okay, that's it. Let's go with the Control C, copy that, give some C/ChatGPT here. Okay, let's paste it here and hit enter. Guys, I think I got multi-level inheritance. I think I'm ready for the hierarchical. Huh. Okay, pupil, look what you did. You misspelled your class name. It's spelled... Okay, it's spelled... Bald. Is that how you pronounce it? Spell bald? B-A-L-D. I think it's spelled bald instead of spell blade. That's exactly the kind of carelessness mistake that can crush your whole code. Other than that, your constructor chaining protected members and method calls are perfect. Your logic is correct. Fix that name and you'll have flawless multiple inheritance. Now, do you want now... Okay, do it and we'll move on to hierarchical inheritance. Okay, I guess we fix our spelling. Okay, so it's how do you spell it? It's BALDE, so I'll go with something like BALDE. Okay, and then I go ahead and copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it here. Okay, and that's pretty much it here as well. Okay, now let's go with the Control C, copy that, get some C/ChatGPT here again. Maybe extend that, paste it. Okay, let's see. I still didn't fix it. Spell blade. Do it before. Didn't I fix it? Okay, you still didn't fix it. Not a typo. Spell belt. Did I copy it correctly? Belt. Spell belt. Okay, I think I didn't copy it correctly. Let's go with the Control C, copy that, get some C/ChatGPT here again. Guys, I think it's just a small typo, but typos are really important to like look into when we're like, whatchamacallit, working on bigger projects, because it could cause a lot of misunderstanding. Are you making a game or solving a problem? Honestly, I am learning the basics of C++. Currently, I'm learning like about object-oriented programming, a topic in object-oriented programming called multiple actually types of inheritance. I'm in the third kind of inheritance called multi-level. Oops. There we go. I think that should be good. People, I told you, it's spell blade. Oh my gosh. Guys, if I go all the way up here, like let's go all the way up here, you misspell your class name. It's spell blade, it's spell bald instead of spell blade. Let's copy this part. Guys, I think Sensei made a small mistake. That's fine. Let's paste it, go with Shift Enter and say something. Sensei, you said me to change spell blade to spell bald. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that. Make that S, and then hit Enter. Okay, do you want to write a fun problem to solve that might teach you some internals of C++? Actually sounds pretty cool. Fix our code, renamed, listen carefully, I never told you to change. Guy, I don't know why Sensei being so bad. Okay, let's say something like Sensei, I'm ready to move on, exclamation. Okay, let's see. Alright people, you didn't mess up this time, so let's dive into hierarchical inheritance. Pay attention, this one is simple, but if you ignore details, you'll screw up. Hierarchical inheritance definition. Hierarchical inheritance is when one base class is inherited by multiple derived classes. That means several, let's see if my stream is lagging, I think it's pretty good. That means several child classes share the same traits of a single parent. Okay. Key points, only one parent class, multiple derived classes, all public protected members from the parent. Okay, simple example, we include IOStream, we include string, we create a vehicle class that has a protected integer data member called speed and a constructor, okay, and then we go with a display method, and then we have a car class that inherits from it and a bike class that inherits from it as well. I think I see, guys, I think I see. Okay, I want you to write a program. Okay, these are the instruction-based questions, guys. I actually can't talk. I think I'm starving. I didn't eat anything. I should actually eat before I start streaming these days. Okay, I feel my camera is more to the left. Okay, let's read the instruction-based questions. So it says to create a base class called employee with name, okay, with a name data member of string and a salary data member. Okay, so now there are two data members called integer. Create two derived classes, two child classes, one called manager with extra attribute of department and a engineer with an extra attribute of specialization, that is a string. Each derived class should have a method to display all their details, including base class attributes. Create objects of both derived class in the main function and their details. People, explain this in words, how you structure it. Okay, let's get ChatGPT here. That's it. Let me go ahead and delete the whole code, and let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. Okay, I want to include IOStream. And then next up, let's read the instructions. So it says to create a base class called employee. So let's go ahead and create a base class called employee. Okay, employee. Did I spell it correct, honestly? Go shower, guys. Honestly, I feel like I did like shower and come here. That's what I'll go with the rope curly braces. Although let's keep the toxicity to a limit as well, because like guys, I feel like it's not just me, because I honestly don't feel toxic or like hatred or anything in general. But there are like some of you guys in chat who might get actually hurt with that. Guys, I don't want to like mute anybody. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and create a employee class with 2 protected attributes. So let's go with something like protected. There we go. So I'm going to be creating the first private protected data member, which is going to be a standard string of name. The second of integer, which is going to be a salary. There we go. Salary. Okay, perfect. Next up, I'll go with actually I'll end that with a semicolon, and let's go ahead and publicize everything. Now, inside of my, let's see, this is going to be a colon. Okay, now inside of my publicized area here, is that what we call it? I'm going to be calling this a constructor. So let's go ahead and call this constructor and create a constructor for my employee class. So I'll go with something like an employee class, add a pair of parentheses, and now my employee class is going to be requiring 2 data members or 2 parameters. The first parameter is going to be a standard string of name. There we go. And the second parameter is going to be an integer of salary. Okay, now I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and inside of my pair of curly braces, I'm going to do something. Let's see. Let's go ahead and initialize it all. So I'll say something like this name data member equals to my name parameter ending with a semicolon. Then let's do something like this salary data member equals to my salary parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, now that I've initialized this, let's see. Okay, I gotta create 2 derived classes. First class is going to be called manager. The second class is going to be called an engineer. So I'll end my employee class with a semicolon. Then let's go ahead and create another class. So this class is going to be called manager. So I'll go with something like a manager, and then add a pair of curly braces. My manager class is going to be having a private data member called department. So let's go with something like private. Okay, so I'll have a private data member called department, which is going to be a standard string. So I'll go with a standard string of department. There we go. Okay, ending with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and publicize everything. I'm going to be creating a constructor as well. There we go, guys. Is my stream lagging? Okay, I think it's pretty good. So I'll go with something like a constructor. Okay, now for my constructor, I'm going to be creating, let's see. Let's create a constructor for my manager class. It doesn't inherit from anyone yet. Or does it? Let's see. So it says create 2 derived classes. Okay, it does inherit. My bad, guys. Let's go ahead and add a colon here. My manager class inherits all the public attributes of my employee class. There we go. Yeah, I think that's pretty correct. Next up, inside of my constructor, I'm going to be creating. Hey man, I've come across your live multiple times, and I noticed that every time you're always just following tasks from ChatGPT to learn. Why not learn by building a project? You learn a lot more. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. The reason I do actually follow instructions is because I can like create instructions just from my mind, because I don't know like the basics of like the stuff. So first I do actually learn the basics, and once I'm pretty good in the basics, I do actually do a lot of mini projects as well. For example, I say like Sensei to like give me a mini project. Sensei says make like a coffee vending machine, and I like make a coffee vending machine, if that made any sense, guys. Although I can like do that if I don't like know the basics. So I do like work a lot in mastering the basics. Okay, that's said. Let's go ahead and create a constructor now. I'm going to be creating a manager classes constructor with a pair of parentheses. Let's say my manager classes constructor requires 2 parameters. The first, actually 3 parameters: a name, a salary, and then a department. So I'll go ahead and create 3 parameters. First is going to be a standard string of name, okay, comma, a standard string of, let's say, salary. There we go. And then a standard string of department as well. I don't know if you guys can actually see this. So a standard string of department. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'll go in a new line and add, let's say, a colon that says something like, I don't know, maybe an employees constructor. The reason I am adding an employees constructor is because I'm inheriting from my employee class as well. My employees constructor requires 2 parameters, name and salaries. So I'll go with name and salary. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. Okay, let's see. Okay, I did do this mistake several times. I messed up my data type here. There we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and do something. So let's go ahead and initialize my department data member. So I'll do something like this: department data member equals to my department parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And then I'll go ahead and create a methods as comment now. For my methods, let's see if I need a method. Uh, Honestly, I actually don't need any methods. Okay, so I might not create a method in that case. Okay, let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon and create another derived class. So I'll go with a class. Okay, this class is going to be called something like, let's see, I might go with engineer. So I'll go with something like engineer. Get off his life if you don't like it, guys. That's what actually makes sense. It's so funny in a way. Okay, so I'm going to be creating an engineer. So engineer. There we go. Do you have experience in any other language or just C++? Honestly, I did like learn Python because I did have like a whole 100 day series where I learned Python for 100 days, and I did make a game by the end of that. My game was about like 470 lines. The only regret, guys, I couldn't push it up to like 500 lines. I mean, that said, the game was pretty fun. I do have it like in my shorts as well. That game was actually pretty fun. I did have like a buff system using like 5 games. I added like HP bar, health bar, multiple enemies, collision logic, and all that stuff. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go ahead and create an engineer class that inherits all my public attributes from my employee class as well. And then I'll go with the above curly braces. Duh. Okay, next up, let's see. Each derived class should have a method to display their details, including base class attributes. Okay, so each derived class create objects for both derived class. Okay, so apparently I do need methods as well. So let's go ahead and create a method for my what you may call my manager class first. So I could go with a comment that says something like methods. There we go. My method is going to be having. Let's create a method real quick. I'll go with a void method of something like show status with a pair of parentheses. My method won't be having any parameters, although it is going to be having what you may call it, a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's see something. Let's see. Okay, so each derived class should have a method that displays all their details, including base class attributes. So all their details. So I might go with something like name. Okay, my manager's name with an insertion operator. This is going to be a name data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be salary. How much does my manager gets paid? I'll go with another insertion operator of my salary data member with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Do you have any project ideas? What do you want to build in the future? Honestly, for my programming for 250 series, I was actually thinking to make a game that consists of AI logic. So I did think to make a game where like we can actually talk with an AI and screen. But guys, I don't know if that is way too ambitious or something. I feel like that sounds way too complicating. Although that does sound the most fun because like, did you guys like actually play the Arkanator game where like you say the Arkanator to like guess somebody, you give them like a few hints, like the Arkanator asks you a few questions, and then you answer that, and then they say who you're thinking about. If that made any sense, guys. I can't make a game of that caliber yet. That said, I do want to actually make something related to that. Maybe something like an NPC related game that an NPC guides us to go in a certain route if we like give a certain answer. Okay, that is kind of that is kind of advanced though, so I won't be thinking much about it right now while I'm learning the basics. That said, how are you doing, Visualator? I appreciate you joining the stream. Is that how you pronounce your name? Visual, I think it's Visualter. Okay, it has to be 6 years old. Okay, so I'll go with something like department. There we go. Okay, for my department, I'm going to be going with another insertion operator of my department data member. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, too much hate for a 6-year-old guy. That does actually make sense. I didn't want to mute PX0, but I thought this is kind of funny though. Okay, let's see. So I added a method here. Now for my engineers for my engineers class, I'm going to be creating, let's say, okay, I'm going to be creating a private data member called specialization. So I'll go with something like private. Okay, this is going to be called specialization. So I'll go with special. Okay, it's going to be an integer or it's going to be a string. So I'll go with a standard string of something like there we go. Did I spell it correct? Special. Okay, I think I spelled it wrong. There we go, guys. I just got to be silent while spelling. Why are you laughing? Okay, that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and publicize everything. Now, I'm gonna be adding a comment that says something like constructor. There we go. Okay, such a super chat, guys. I feel like I'm way too busy. Honestly, after like I'm done streaming, I usually just do my which we call it college stuff. So I hardly have time. So like I just stream, and then that's the reason haven't like uploaded a video for like 2 weeks, and instead I just like stream myself because like I don't have time to edit and everything. Okay, so I'll go with something like a constructor. Okay, next up, is a grown ass person who speaks insulting is calling someone gay is just sad. Honestly, that does make sense, guys. That said, I'm going to be creating a constructor for my engineer class. So I'll go with engineer, add a pair of parentheses. My engineer class is going to be requiring, let's say, 3 parameters. The first parameter is going to be a standard string of name. What is my engineer's name? Okay. And then I'll go with something like, what is my engineer's salary? So I'll go with integer of salary. Okay, how much do they earn? And lastly, I'll go with the standard string of specialization. How much, what are they specialized on? What is their niche, guys? And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my engineer class, I'm gonna, okay, actually, before I add a pair of curly braces, I'm gonna go ahead and create a, a constructor for my employee class as well, because I am inheriting from my employee class too. Okay, so I'll go with something like employee with a pair of parentheses. My employee class is going to be having 2 parameters. The first parameter is going to be a standard string of name. Okay, and the second parameter is going to be an integer of salary. And guys, I just realized, give me a sec, I might not need the data members here. Okay, I wouldn't need the data members of integer and standard string here because I already have those parameters here. I am just setting these values up because my actual employees constructor requires those 2 parameters. Okay, guys, if that made any sense. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and initialize my specialization, data member. So I'll do something like this: specialization data member equals to my specialization parameter ending with a semicolon. Okay, you obsessed, get some help. Okay, next up, let's see. I gotta create a method called display that displays all their details. I might actually copy this because, like, guys, I'm way too lazy to type this whole thing up again. Okay, so let's add a comment that says methods. Okay, and then paste this here. Okay, now instead of department, I'm just gonna change this to my specialization data member. So my name is going to be my name data member, my salary is going to be my salary data member, and my department, or I could change this to something like specialization. Let me copy that, paste it here. Can just change the lowercase s to an uppercase s. There we go. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and end my final class with a semicolon as well. And let's read the next instruction. It's rage bait, guys. That's the reason I was actually kind of laughing because it was kind of funny. Okay, that said, create objects of both derived class in the main function. So let's go ahead and create a main function. I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Now, inside of my main function, let's go ahead and create a object for both my engineer class and my, what was the other class called? I forgot. And my manager class. So I'm going to go with something like my manager class. It's going to be having an object of manager with 3 parameters. Let's say, what are the 3 parameters that my constructor requires? I require a name, salary, and department. Let's say my name is something like Sarah, and Sarah gets, let's say, $50,000 a year. And then let's go with something like a department. Sarah is, I don't know, a teacher. Okay, let's go with something like teacher. Okay, and then let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Okay, I hope soon enough I'll see you live stream a series where you build a project little by little each day, but I hope you're enjoying C++. I did it in college and it's interesting language. Honestly, I do appreciate you. That does actually make sense. Eventually, once I do understand myself, I might actually make a whole playlist where I do make like a big project chunk by chunks, if that makes any sense, while teaching you guys as well, because eventually my goal is to actually even teach you guys, because I do enjoy teaching as well. That said, hey, howdy people, I appreciate you joining the stream. Do you find C++ is difficult so far? Honestly, I feel so far it's pretty easy, because like many of you guys did say me that C++ is going to be pretty hard if you move on from Python. but I did like move on like from Python, but I feel C++ did like seem pretty easy. That said, maybe it could be because I am going through the very basics yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a engineer object. And then now inside of my engineer object, only three parameters. Let's say my engineer's name is Tom, and Tom receives, I don't know, maybe $35,000 a year. 2, 3, there we go. Okay, and Tom is specialized in, I don't know, maybe, let's say building. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and end this with a semicolon. PK0, go away with your abusive language, guys. If that does like bother you guys, I could like mute him for like a while. Honestly, I'll like give him like guys. I'll give Pico another warning or PK another warning because like anywhere abusing language, and I might actually mute because like guys, it's not about me because I don't like feel much whatchamacallit. I actually feel that funny, but some of you guys do like get hurt by it, so I gotta think about everybody, guys. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and do something like manager. I think ChatGPT roadmap isn't efficient. I think you need more difficult RAM UPS more often because you're pretty much repeating lol. Honestly, that does make sense. Although I am like on purpose like going with the same concepts and like just spiking it up or like just increasing the difficulty level by just a notch every single time because I do want to master the basics as well because I don't want to like move on to like a brand new topic without being whatchamacallit really proficient in the old topic, if that made any sense. Okay, Pico, I'm gonna be muting you for a bit or like timing you out for a bit. Okay, maybe I go with something like 30 minutes. Because guys, let's keep the toxicity to a level because like some people do get hurt by it. Okay, that said, I'll do something like my manager object dot the show stats with a pair of parentheses that shows my manager's stats, and then I'll go with something like my engineer or my engineer dot show stats ending with a semicolon as well. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. Okay, now if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. It says name Sarah, Sarah earns $50,000 a year, Sarah's department is teacher. Name is Tom, Tom earned $35,000 a year, specialization is building. Okay, so Tom is a builder. Let's go with the Control C, copy that, hiding PY, appreciates joining the stream. That said, let's get some /chat-GPT here, paste it, go with Shift Enter and say something like Sensei. Actually, I won't say anything, guys. This might actually be the last question because I am starving kind of bit and I do have like college tomorrow, so I do gotta like work on my assignments. Plus, even build the PC because I did record a lot of clips of me actually building the PC. I'm really excited to edit that and then post it. Okay, that said, yes, people, this is perfect. You correctly set up the hierarchical inheritance, employee, base manager, and engineer derived. Okay, constructors and derived classes classes correctly called the base constructor. Each derived class has its own extra attributes and method to display all details. Just a tiny note for perfectionist point, specialization is misspelled. It should be specialization, guys. Always my spellings. That's it, but the logic and structure are flawless. Pupil bonus. Now that you fully understand hierarchical inheritance, if you want, we can wrap up all inheritance types with a single challenge. Wait, let me say something like Sensei. What up, guys? Sensei, was that all the types question mark? Weren't there any more question mark? Okay, let's see. Exactly, people. Here's the big picture. There we go. There was hybrid as well. Okay, those are the 5 main types. Ah, I see. Dot dot dot. Sensei, I was planning to end the stream right now because I do have college tomorrow and a lot of assignments. That said, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I end the stream question mark? And next stream we can wrap all the types up. Okay, my name is pronounced as PyML. PyML. Oh, in Python machine learning, but you can just call me Nick from now on if you remember this. Lol, not forcing. Honestly, that was like I could actually call you Nick. That sounded pretty. That's actually pretty easier to say than like PyML. But I could call you anything you prefer. That said, listen up, pupil. To all viewers, remember this: knowledge is nothing without action. Our pupil today has battled through single, multi-level, multiple, and hierarchical inheritance. I haven't done hybrid inheritance. Every line of code, every bug fixes, every aha moment is step towards mastery. People, go crush your assignments. Okay, go crush your assignments and exams tomorrow, but don't get lazy. What you practice today, what will pay off that will pay off tomorrow. Okay, come back for the next stream, and we're going to wrap all these inheritance types so tight that nothing slips through your brain. Now go build, dominate, and see you next stream for the ultimate inheritance showdown. Kisses and head pat for the rants you put in today, guys. That made it also worth it. That's it. Goodbye, Bev. Good luck on your assignments. I appreciate you, Nick. Okay, hiding memes. I appreciate you joining the stream. That's it. Let's go to my main camera. Alrighty, guys. So basically, that was pretty much it. Let's get in the center of my screen. Okay, so basically, that was pretty much it for the stream. If you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I did like start building my PC yesterday. That's it. I gotta like do a few setups today. Once I do build my PC and my stream lag is fixed, I am gonna start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, maybe TikTok and Instagram as well. So if you got maybe TikTok and Instagram as well, if I haven't like met the subscribers or the followers a requirement. So if you guys haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there and also join the Discord server. You guys can get access to my Discord or like any of my socials in general. If you type exclamation that socials is name, no space, no everything lowercase on the chat. That's it. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.